couple of calls that could have gone opposite with the Kangaroo game, but we never brought that up. So, it doesn't really matter what the ref does. We'll always talk about the ref and blame the ref, but the guys have got to step up themselves. They just got to step up to the mark.
Well, I'm not trying to...
They've got to take onus on themselves.
I think we've got to give England some credit too, boys. They played well under the guidance of Wayne Bennett. The Wayne Bennett factor cannot be understated. I mean, he took the Kiwis to a World Cup win in 2008, although Steve Kearney was the head coach, but everyone knows it was Wayne Bennett pulling the strings.
Yes,
and he's pulling the strings
with
with this England team too. They can't understate their performance either. So, credit where it's due. They've beaten us in the series so far, 2-0, but a chance for redemption Monday morning.
But, to be honest, well, this is how I see things anyway. There are a lot of refereeing decisions that kind of went... that made a huge impact, I think, for any team. It would have made a huge impact for any team, let alone the Kiwi team, who are still yet to reach their best, I would say. But for me, I think there's still a lot of potential for the Kiwis. What do you reckon, JT?
Oh yeah, definitely, a lot of potential, 100%. And there's still, 3 or 4 key players that weren't in the side. So look, it's a building stage. It's a rebuilding stage, I should say, and onwards and upwards from here. One more game to try and restore some sort of pride, some sort of mana in that jersey and in their team until who we play next year.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you reckon about the rugby league and how it's been going so far there, Ra?
Yeah, well, you always encounter, refs, especially over in England. Sometimes it's like you're playing against 14 players on the field, but the sign of a good team is to weather that storm and just to get on with the job at hand, which is to play your brand of football and to try and come away with a win. I think probably one of the only things the Kiwis favour is that they've got a young team, and once they get through this year, then it's all sort of towards 2019 and how they can sort of come into that season, from the experiences of 2018, but there's still potential on that side. Hopefully they can take away a win, but still a little bit disappointed, especially when they won that game against Aussie. It was like, oh wow, this is the start of a new phase in Kiwi Rugby League. Sadly, the last couple of losses have indicated otherwise, but I don't know if they've just taken their finger off the pulse when they went over to play England, or but they've got to get it back somehow. And let's hope they can sort of take away a win and just look forward to the season ahead.
Oh, we've been too hard on them, Reno. I mean, to be quite honest, I think there's still plenty of positives to take away from that Kiwi team, considering that the Kiwis played England earlier on this year and got pretty much trounced in was it Denver or USA? So still a lot of positives, I think, still. And we haven't even finished the series yet to take away from this tour. What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, you're right. There are a lot of positives to take out of it. Look, you've had the young guys step up to the mark. You've had an outstanding NRL season, couple of premiers. When we spoke about them against the Kangaroos, Joseph Manu, Brandon Smith, there's a couple of names that came out and were unearthed. But unfortunately not firing as much up in the UK. But what I do like, it is building time going forward. About time we had a Northern Hemisphere tour. I wish we had a bit more of this type of stuff up there, but playing also some of the club games, midweek games, bring that whole philosophy back like it used to be in the days. Play your Wiggins and all these other teams, some of these championships. Forget about a Challenge Cup. We need these international games and a lot more happening. That's the only way you are going to get better going forward and for the players getting to know each other. You go back, I think, to Denver, and there was only a 4-day turnaround for Mark Maguire to make that happen. And obviously, by the way, I'll let the listeners know, they haven't even been paid for that. From America. The American consortium haven't even paid the New Zealand Rugby League for that. So there's a bit of news for you today. But the disturbing side of it, though, is I think more up on the high end. I was talking to Sir Peter Leach yesterday about it, and we both agree you wouldn't even realise this Kiwi tour was on here in the country. Their website is much to be desired. Social media doesn't give enough credit on it as well. And unfortunately, the Kiwi coach doesn't name his team until right at the last minute. So, for a lot of Kiwi fans here in the country, you wouldn't even know this tour was on. That's how sad it is. And the website, well, that's just rubbish.
Yep.
It's just pathetic, and it's doing no justice for the game. So, in regards to what you asked originally, mate, I think a couple of young guns have stepped up to the mark, kind of cemented themselves in that Kiwi jersey, and I just want to see more tests. I've always talked about it. We need to have more tests.
Yeah. Now, this is something that we talked about, JT, a little while, and Reno brought the point up that the promotions of the games just aren't really up to par. I think, and we had this maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, this discussion. But having said that, there still are positives to come away from this Kiwi tour for you. What do you reckon, JT?
Well, first, let me address the point of promotion. That's very sad to hear, because here in Australia it's quite well promoted. Well, I guess that's a different landscape, with rugby league having a better profile over here than back in New Zealand. So I can't say enough of how Foxtel and even some of the free-to-air stations, particularly Channel 9, have broadcast different advertising bits of material on the tour. So that is sad to hear. But moving forward, we've got an exciting concept next year down in Melbourne. I was in Melbourne last week, and I caught up with a couple of old mates down there. The NRL Indigenous All-Stars taking on the Māori All-Stars. So you've got the likes of James Tamo, Kalen Ponga, Valentine Holmes, who've all played either Origin or for Australia. And an interesting one is Dane Gagai, who is part Torres Strait Islander, which is up north of Australia, and part Māori, half and half.
Right.
So he's eligible for both sides. So that will be one cracker of a game. Yeah.
That'll be awesome. I think that'll be awesome, and I think we're all looking forward to that sort of thing, Ra?
Oh, yeah, when I heard them talking about that game earlier in the piece, I was sort of thinking, wow, that's going to be a good match. That's a good way to promote, rugby league. And as we all know, it's always difficult in the country of New Zealand where, we're rugby bad. That league is always going to take that sort of, not back seat, but way, way, way back seat. And that's sad because, even here on our local sort of media channels on TV and the like, there's not much promotion. And then when you look at some of the games that are played overseas in England, the league games, small crowds at some of those stadiums, it's sort of, it's sad. I don't think it does the code justice. It's a great game to watch. And, I just think, games such as that Indigenous All-Stars and Māori matches is going to be a good way to sort of, rekindle that interest in ethnic football, if something else, and rugby league in general.
Yeah, indeed. Just back to you, JT. For the Kiwis, what are some of the positives for you that have come out at least so far with this tour?
Well, I think Reno touched on it before. We unearthed a couple of good young players of the future in Brandon Smith and Joseph Manu. Dylan Waitini deserves the net. That's a mouthful. You can't really fault his performances. He runs the ball back harder than anyone I've seen from a fullback for a long, long time.
Yep.
Look, and just the fact that they are playing these games, it'd be nice to play some of their club sides as well, and perhaps do a 2-test tour of France to round out the trip like they used to back in the old days. But small steps. I'll just keep going back to that one more game on Monday morning, and hopefully we can get a good result for the boys to, set them in good stead for what may come ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Completely agree. Anyway, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back with more Full Time right after this. Turanga FM. On behalf of the Full-Timers, I would just like to say big thanks to Joachim Currid, who brings us our music intro. Check him out on joachimcurrid.com. He's also on YouTube, Twitter, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify, Instagram, and follow him on Facebook. Another big thanks goes out to Silent Partner, who brings us our outro. Check out their music on YouTube. And also thanks must go to the Polish Ambassador for the backing music for this promo. Check out the Polish Ambassador on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Beatport, Instagram, Twitter, and on his website, thepolishambassador.com.
You're listening to a podcast produced by Turangi FM, #1 iwi radio station in Aotearoa. We play each full-time session on Tūrangi FM Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. You can listen in live on our Tūrangi FM media page. Just click the main Tūrangi FM logo to tune in online. Or if you're in the Gisborne area, we're on the radio frequencies 91.7, 95.7 and 98.1. Also check out the Full-Time Facebook page where you can listen to the podcast again. Make comments and click links that will lead you to other ways to listen to the podcast, such as Spreaker, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, Podchaser and Tumblr. Right, let's get back to the Fools on Full-Time.
Welcome along to our second session here on Full Time. I'd like to send another shout out going out to our sponsors, Racetrack Motors, out there on Grey Street. Also like to say send a special shout out going out to the GT Sharing Waikahu Premier Rugby team. They won Sports Team of the Year at the Sports Excellence Awards last night. So big congratulations, and a big congratulations to all the recipients of the nominations who went to those awards. Now we were talking, I guess just before coming back on, Reno, about they should really, when they do these tours, and this is a point that you brought up on Wednesday as well, they should be playing these games at rugby league places, the homes of rugby league places like Hull, like Wigan, not Liverpool or Anfield. I mean, as great a field as Anfield is, and it's a great sporting, historic field, but, it's not a rugby league field, is it?
Well, it's like playing an All Black game, Keithy, at maybe, I don't know, some soccer field or something stupid like that. But I didn't say that. Look what they're doing over in America, playing on baseball fields. But no, you are right. I did bring it up on Wednesday, and they should have taken it back to the league grounds. Not the big league teams that are up the top there who are dominating, get the big full houses. Go back to some of the smaller areas, to the grassroots of the league supporters, and put on an international league. Get a sellout crowd. That's the worst thing you want to see when you're watching TV, is bugger all people watching it. And if you have it at a football field, I think that's the outcome you'd get. So, take it back to the real staunch league supporters of UK, and football don't need it. They've got millions or billions, most probably.
Yeah.
So, that's why, take it back to the leagueies. It just seemed to make common sense. So, what we've seen on the New Zealand Rugby League website, they can't even update that. I'm guessing there's no communication at the top level again with the promoters or the providers of this Northern Tour. So, I don't know what went belly up there. So, I think there's a massive breakdown in communication just carried on from Paul Kidwell's year last year at the top end, and they should have sorted it out before they went over. So, something's majorly wrong there at a high level. I would have loved to seen the game being played in front of the league community.
You must agree with that there, JT?
Oh, to a degree, although I don't mind the fact that they're trying to promote the game in a non-rugby league area. Although Liverpool, if you look at it geographically, isn't too far from the north of England. So, look, it is what it is. I couldn't give a stuff if we played at Whakarua Park or wherever. But, mate, got to give something back to the rugby league community in the north. And that's one thing I do agree with. So, mate, just the results just haven't gone our way. So I guess we're a bit upset about that. But one more game to go, Keith. I keep harking back to that. But it is one more game to go, and hopefully we can get some momentum from that.
Yeah, I agree. It would be great to see. Whereabouts is the next one? Do you know, JT?
In Leeds, I think.
Oh,
Leeds,
right,
Leeds.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, you had to do a bit of hunting around to look for that too. It was like, where the hell is it? As I say, Leeds. I don't even know the starting team for Monday morning at this stage, so we'll soon find out. And like JT said, we just need the result. That's all it is. We could talk about it and everything around it. It's just the result. That's all we'll talk about if we win.
True enough.
It's what we need. Yeah, it's what we need. It's like the All Black game tomorrow morning up against England. no one's really talking about England.
No.
It's all
Very
All Blacks
true.
and All Blacks. And I was reading a good little write-up yesterday about Steve Hansen